Good Monday morning! Today we are going to talk about the optional chaining operator in JavaScript. I am MPJ and you are watching Fun Function.
Nothing local. Your friend. It is your friend.
Alright, so what does this optional chaining operator look like? Let's have a look at that first. Alright, so we have an object here called user, which has one property called name, and that is Fluffykins. And here we are creating a variable called the zip code, and here we are kind of trying to access a property that does not exist on the user, an address, and then we in turn we're trying to access another property that does not exist on the non-existent object called zip code. So let's say that we have users that some of them have names, some of them also have addresses. And if we use the optional chaining operator, this means that zip code here would be undefined. And if we didn't have this, didn't use that, then this code would actually immediately break. Let me actually just execute that. Quokka start on current file. There we go. And you see that cannot read property zip of undefined. Now, you might notice here that these go red, and that is because unless you're watching this from the future, this does not exist in JavaScript quite yet. The optional chaining operator is a proposal for JavaScript. It's at stage 1, and there are 4 stages. However, I do think that this is likely to be implemented because it's an obviously useful feature. It already exists in C#. Also, you can use this already today using Babel, and you can find a link to how to do that in the episode description. Unless you are watching this from the future. Alright, so why does this exist? What's the point of this? Alright, so let's think about the problem here. We need to access the zip code of our users, but the problem is that some users don't have an address, which means that we get these cannot read property zip of undefined errors. Oh, can I make an interesting observation here? This problem only exists because in JavaScript and many languages, variables and properties can be null, or undefined, or nil, or whatever you would like to call them. They can be like set to point to nothing. And that is what creates problems like this. And languages like Rust, for example, does completely away with the concept of null in order to avoid these kinds of problems. Sure, but JavaScript does have this problem, so we need to deal with it somehow. All right, maybe we can solve it with a logic expression. Ta-da! Fine, that works, but like you see, it's very noisy. It's very verbose. That's true. Maybe we could do a nested ternary. What? No! Wow! Here we go. I think this is a great example of why nested ternary operators are so hard to read. I just look at this and I just feel the ulcer growing in my stomach. Hey, no problem. Let's solve it with a try-catch block. I think this is also very noisy. It also has its own scopes, so we have to do this weird mutable variable here. We can't use const anymore. Also, let's delete this comment here. We don't need that now that we're using Quokka. Oh, I know what we could do. Please don't write a library. I'll write a library! That wasn't too much code actually. Oh, for the love. Oh, and using recursion always makes me feel so smart. Literally thousands of years of developer time must have been wasted on writing this function. Fine, I'll use a third-party library. Oh, Ramda, it's such a nice library. I feel like it's weird that the syntax here is reversed from the function that we wrote earlier. Like the properties come first and they come as an array, and the second argument here is the object. Why is it like that? Oh, the benefit of that is that it allows us to carry it with Ramda. Hang on, I'll show you. So you see here that we can reuse get_zip in multiple places in our app because of the currying. Fine, but wouldn't it be cool if something like Ramda path was built into the language? Yes! Okay, so apart from the fact this does not exist yet, I think that this is a really nice solution. It's a lot shorter than all the other solution, including the little library that we wrote just to solve this problem. Yeah, but is it really all that much shorter? It's shorter, but we're still talking about introducing a whole new language feature here. If we add a new language feature for every little thing that we want to solve in JavaScript, we're going to end up with a language that has a very steep learning curve. One of the nicest things about JavaScript is that there aren't too many language constructs to learn. Is the optional chaining operator a useful feature that is worth the complexity it adds to the language? Or is it just cuddling with the C# developers? Post a comment down below, or if you are a patron, you can check out the dedicated discussion topic for this episode on the Fun forum right here, or in the link in the episode description. If you are new, welcome. You have just watched an episode of Fun Function. I release these every Monday morning, 0800 GMT. If you are forgetful, you can subscribe here so that you don't miss it, or you can check out another episode right now by clicking here. I am MPJ. Until next Monday morning, stay tuned.